There's a Hidden Valley Ranch party in my mouth. The Hidden Valley Ranch party in my mouth.
Once upon a time, Saturday Night Live was a revolution. A weekly live show that took the chaos of the world and turned it into comedy. Raw, weird, and gloriously unhinged. It gave us political satire, bizarre characters, and sketches that actually felt dangerous. It was unpredictable, it was iconic, it was live television with actual teeth. But then something started to change. It wasn't one moment, one episode, or one cast departure. It was a slow, creeping shift. The kind of change you don't notice until you're halfway through a sketch and realize no one's laughing, not even the cast. And that's when you realize the show isn't what you remembered it to be. Saturday Night Live was created by Lorne Michaels and premiered on October 11th, 1975 on NBC. The original cast, aka the not ready for primetime players, included comedy legends like Gilda Radner, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, and John Belushi. It was edgy, irreverent, and groundbreaking. It didn't just reflect culture, it shaped it. Every week was a chaotic blend of political jabs, fake commercials, musical guests, and the constant thrill of knowing something could actually go wrong on live TV. And while Lorne Michaels was praised for assembling talent, he also became the show's unofficial monarchy. Stories of favoritism, behind-the-scenes drama, and you're either in or invisible vibes made SNL's inner circle feel more like a high school cafeteria than a creative incubator. At its peak, Saturday Night Live was more than a comedy show. It was a cultural barometer. It played a major role in shaping public perception of politicians, celebrities, and national events. Parodies like Tina Fey's, Sarah Palin, and Alec Baldwin's Donald Trump became touchstones in political discourse, often blurring the lines between entertainment and reality. A guest appearance on SNL was seen as a milestone in a celebrity's career, and sketches regularly influenced online conversation and headlines. The show established itself as a platform where comedy, celebrity, and current events intersected, and for a long time, it succeeded in balancing all three. For decades, SNL was the place where comedy lived.
Fight this!
Look, my eyes while he lay on you.
No!
Pretended me.
Presidents were roasted, pop stars were parodied, and no one was safe. The sketches were bold, weird, and actually funny. From More Cowbell to Wayne's World, Celebrity Jeopardy to Debbie Downer, the show gave us moments that became part of pop culture history. And this was the era when SNL didn't just observe the culture, it became the culture. Even the flops felt fearless. They missed big, but they aimed big. You watched live because you never knew what might happen, and that was the thrill. The golden era wasn't just about good sketches, it was about shared experience. You'd show up to school or work Monday morning, quoting lines like, "I live in a van, down by the river," or "sweaty balls." The show didn't need hashtags or TikToks. It lived rent-free in everyone's heads. Even the fake commercials were better than real ones. It felt like the whole country was in on the same inside joke. And now, it feels like everyone's politely pretending they still get it. The shift didn't happen all at once. First, the sketches got longer, then the satire got softer, then the edginess that once defined SNL turned into the equivalent of clapping emoji tweets. Cold opens became weekly lectures, disguised as impressions. And suddenly, comedy that once punched up started playing it safe. It felt less like satire, more like a group project that got edited by legal. Even the weird sketches, the lifeblood of SNL, started feeling algorithmic. Not haha that's unhinged, but this will probably trend for 6 hours on Twitter. And nothing says comedy like a sketch that ends with a QR code for merch. In recent years, Saturday Night Live has come under increasing scrutiny for its lack of diversity and inconsistent handling of sensitive issues. Critics have pointed out that the show was slow to include cast members from underrepresented backgrounds, and when it did, their screen time often felt tokenized. Debates erupted around how the show navigated topics like race, gender, and politics, with many arguing that it either played it too safe or leaned into outdated stereotypes. High-profile casting controversies, such as hiring and almost immediately firing Shane Gillis over past offensive remarks, further fueled conversations about the show's vetting process and commitment to inclusivity. Beyond casting, the show has also faced backlash for its choice of hosts. Appearances by divisive figures like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Dave Chappelle were met with widespread criticism, both from viewers and even cast members themselves.
Black president came out of nowhere like, come on everybody, let's start thinking about everyone else. Oh nigga, I just got this money!
These hosting decisions often led to social media firestorms and open letters questioning the show's values and intentions. Critics argue that SNL is more focused on stirring headlines and courting controversy than producing meaningful satire. As a result, the show's attempts to stay relevant have increasingly been met with skepticism, suggesting that its once powerful cultural voice has become more reactive than reflective. Part of the magic of SNL used to be the cast. They weren't just funny, they were unforgettable. You knew their voices, their characters, their comedy DNA, but now the cast is massive and somehow still underwhelming. Most feel like placeholders until they land a sitcom pilot or Audible deal. And when someone does shine, they're trapped in a cycle of the same 3 characters over and over again. Breakout stars are rare, and breakout moments feel rationed. You get your 1 sketch per episode, if you're lucky. Unless you're in Lauren's top 3, in which case, enjoy your 8th cold open in a row. And let's not ignore the elephant in Studio 8H. No one's allowed to be weird anymore. The era of unhinged physical comedy, bizarre voice choices, and characters so strange they circled back to genius, gone. Now everyone's polished, media trained, and just edgy enough to get on Fallon. It's less about who can make the room crack up, and more about who can go viral without upsetting HR. And when your breakout moment is guy who plays every white politician, you know we've hit creative bankruptcy. SNL's writing used to be hit or miss in the best way, because when it hit, it hit. Now, it mostly just exists. Sketches that should end at the punchline go on for 4 more minutes. Premises are milked dry before the opening line ends. Even when they have a great concept, the joke gets lost somewhere between the cue cards and the canned laughter. It's not that the writers aren't talented, it's that the whole machine feels creatively constipated. Nobody wants to take a real risk, because playing it safe keeps the checks coming. And somewhere along the way, SNL forgot the difference between satire and summarizing the news with a wink. Then there are the headlines they try to sweep under the rug. From cast member scandals to questionable hosts, the show has dipped into damage control more than once. Shane Gillis was hired and fired in record time for offensive podcast remarks.
If I get fired here, whatever, I'll just go do Joe Rogan next week and I'll be fine.
Elon Musk hosted during peak controversy, confusing fans, critics, and even the cast. The show's own alumni have taken swipes at its direction, accusing it of being too woke, not woke enough, or just plain tired. And don't forget their decades-long struggle with diversity. It took until 2014 to cast a black woman in a show that launched in 1975. And then there's the question of who's allowed to be funny. Over the years, SNL has faced backlash for allegedly blacklisting controversial comics or guests, all while simultaneously platforming others with equal or worse baggage, so long as they bring ratings. It's a pick-and-choose morality buffet. One week they're preaching inclusion, the next they're handing the mic to someone trending for all the wrong reasons. It's not principle, it's PR strategy, dressed as integrity. And viewers are starting to notice the hypocrisy more than the punchlines. But sure, let's keep pretending the show is leading the cultural conversation. Ratings are down, viewership is down, energy is way down. Even the audience's laughter feels contractual. Online, the consensus is clear. I tried to watch SNL again, and yeah, I'm good. Sure, some sketches go viral, but virality doesn't equal quality. It just means the clip was short enough to watch while waiting for your Uber Eats. And even those sketches are increasingly relying on cameos and nostalgia bait. What was once a live wire of unexpected comedy is now a YouTube playlist you leave on in the background while folding laundry. At this point, it's not even that the sketches are bad, it's that the show doesn't seem to have ideas anymore. Half the time it feels like they picked a trending word off Twitter and said, okay, now let's make it a courtroom sketch. The setups are lazy, the punchlines are soft, and the absurdist spark that once made SNL brilliant has been replaced with celebrity plays weird uncle for the 3rd time this season. It's less like comedy and more like an obligation, the world's longest running inside joke where everyone forgot the setup but still politely laughs at the end. Because somewhere between the cue cards, the cold opens, and the awkward musical guest outros, it lost what made it essential. It used to take risks, make stars, and mock power. Now it plays it safe, chases trends, and bows to algorithms. It's not live, it's not dangerous, and it's barely funny. What was once the heartbeat of late-night comedy is now a tired institution, still clinging to its golden years, like your uncle who keeps quoting Will Ferrell. And sure, maybe it'll bounce back, maybe the spark will return. But at this point, the only thing truly live from New York is the slow, painful sound of a once great show politely dying in front of a studio audience.